The past 2 years now, we've been witness to an onslaught on the Palestinians. And this is not from the Israelis. No, this is from the Western media itself. I will discount, for the sake of a more pithy argument, their track record. And by they or their, I mean all of these sort of like, fixtures in the firmament of Western news, the BBC, CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, all of these celebrated news media outlets. We have seen unreservedly, unabashedly, that they have always adopted a pro-Israel, pro-Western, pro-Zionist stance. The past 2 years have shown that they do not care a fig for the life or lives of Palestinians, Muslims, people of color. All of it has gone to demonstrate their hypocrisy, has gone to demonstrate that while they may purportedly espouse liberal values and principles, they're very selective in who it applies to. The BBC, CNN, New York Times, all of them are guilty as Israel. They are complicit in the genocide. And I am not saying that I'm trying to make a case for Al Jazeera or TRT or any other, or for example, YouTube-based news outlet like Breaking Points and all of those. I'm not trying to make a case for them at all. But when you have the scales imbalanced, it is hard not to then turn to these other media sources. I bring this up because while accountability may be very far off, holding them to account may also never happen. It's funny to see how a minor editorial, perhaps, if you want to consider it a minor one, but an editorial fumble, a mistake, if it is to be believed, has led now to Donald Trump taking on the BBC. That's a headline I don't think that anyone would have thought they'd see, but 2025 just happens to be that kind of year. The BBC, in their flagship documentary program Panorama, did an episode on January 6th, the January 6th uprising, in which the US Capitol was stormed by, I don't know if we can call them MAGAs, Republicans, the far right, God knows what. But in it, a speech which Donald Trump delivered on that very day was edited in a way to somehow show that he incited the rioters to storm the Capitol. Of course, this is a point that has been hotly contested, both in courts, in the US media, but for all intents and purposes, it is a misleading claim to be, to quote the legalese. And of course, Trump is rightfully umbraged, and he has now threatened to sue. That's something that I don't think that the BBC would ever have expected, but there has been backlash because heads have rolled. The Director General, Tim Davie, and Chief Executive of News, Deborah Turnus, both were forced to resign, and BBC Chair Samir Shah issued a public apology for error of judgment in this matter. In a recent interview, Trump himself said that he feels that he will have to go ahead with the legal suit. It's funny how something like this has led to repercussions in the BBC, whereas the past 2 years of their lies go unanswered. And maybe we will never see any accountability for that. I do see a partiality, an imbalance, whenever it has come to reporting on Donald Trump, regardless of how you feel about him. But if we are to believe that news, the media, is meant to do free and fair reporting, that means you give equal, honest time to everyone, right? If now you don't do that, and then you split it right down the middle and you say this is liberal media, this is conservative media, then, I mean, how can you claim to be anything other than a biased or partial media outlet? How can you claim to be delivering the news, which of course in their understanding is as close to the truth as possible, when you outrightly say that yes, we are, or at least our sort of values are sort of more liberal than they are conservative. I mean, people don't tune into Fox News to sort of pick up on, your daily woke updates, right? I mean, sort of Fox is conservative. All of these others who are supposed to be sort of defenders of democracy and sort of upholding, these values that the West force feed us all the time. In their case, what do you say about them? And of course, they've never given a fair shake to Donald Trump. Again, I say this, regardless of how you feel about him. In the 4 years, in that wilderness period when he was voted out, I mean, we know, it was there before everybody. I mean, the news was never fair with him. I mean, now that he is back in the White House, it's not like things have changed. But I mean, seeing the kind of umbrage that Trump takes. We saw that, for example, when it came to Jimmy Kimmel and the whole Charlie Kirk affair, and the FCC stepping in. That was something that, at least to my memory, we had not seen before in the US, considering as how they are such paragons of free speech. But this is something that goes beyond that. This isn't just Trump's whimsy. This isn't just Trump's ego being bruised. This is an example of a media, of what's it called, a media outlet, of a broadcaster messing up. I mean, they clearly did something that was wrong. However you want to believe, what happened on January 6th was Trump's fault or whoever's fault it was. I mean, sort of until that's actually proven, I mean, what the BBC did was wrong. And the fact that they're now being raked over the coals is exactly what they deserve. This may not be justice to the Palestinians. I know I'm linking these two things, but for those of us who have been witness to what the BBC has been doing for the past 2 years, I mean, this is a minor victory. And I hope Trump actually follows through with this and sues them for the $1 billion, because it's unfortunately going to come out of the pocket of the UK public, the British public, but then perhaps this is a chance for them to defund the BBC. Let's hope that actually happens.
The revolution will be live.